Ukrainian troops leave the town that became a symbol of the 2023 counteroffensive. Ukrainian troops have abandoned UKRAINIan in the Donetsk region and KRYNKY in Kherson, according to recent reports. Kyiv forces have withdrawn from a town they recaptured last summer during their counteroffensive and have lost their position on the east bank of the Dnieper River in southern Ukraine. Ukraine entered the settlement on August 10, 2023, liberating it 6 days later in a strategic gain seen as a symbol of the operation to recover territory occupied by Russia. Ukrainian media, citing sources from Kyiv's general staff, reported that it no longer made sense to maintain positions there due to large-scale destruction. In an update on Tuesday, the Institute for the Study of War, ISW, a U.S. think tank, noted how Russian forces advanced into northern UKRAINIan on June 13. The Russian Defense Ministry published images of the chief of the Russian General Staff, Valery Gerasimov, receiving reports about Moscow's alleged capture of the town. This comes amid reports that Kyiv troops have also withdrawn from their position on the Russian-occupied eastern bank of the Dnieper River in southern Ukraine. According to various Ukrainian army media, Ukrainian troops have withdrawn from this bridgehead. Apparently, the withdrawal occurred several weeks ago. Reports and video footage from this sector have been minimal in recent weeks, but we now have a likely explanation. In October last year, Ukraine's 37th and 38th Marine Brigades captured the village of KRYNKY in the Kherson region, providing Kyiv with an important strategic bridge on the Dnieper. The area has been the scene of intense fighting and heavy losses on both sides, but on May 27, the Ukrainian General Staff said its troops were holding positions near KRYNKY and other bridgeheads on the left bank. However, citing Ukrainian military sources, Ukrainska Pravda reported that Kyiv forces were forced to abandon their positions in the area. The Deep State Map project, which has ties to the Ukrainian military and maps control of territory in the war, confirmed the loss of KRYNKY. Ukrainian MP Mariana Bazula also referred to the loss in a post on June 8. The ISW said on Tuesday that fighting had continued near KRYNKY in the previous 2 days, but there were no confirmed changes to the front line. Meanwhile, Bazula, who had raised the alarm about KRYNKY's loss more than a month ago, posted on Facebook that he has requested to leave President Volodymyr Zelensky's Servant of the People parliamentary faction. Bazula has caused controversy for repeatedly criticizing Ukraine's former and current military leaders, including former Commander-in-Chief Valery Zaluzhnyi and his successor, Oleksandr Syrsky. The recent withdrawals from UKRAINIan and KRYNKY represent significant setbacks for Ukraine and highlight the intense nature of the ongoing conflict. The situation is not as critical as the media and bloggers interpret it, said Dmytro Lykovich, spokesman for the group of forces in southern Ukraine, whose appearance in the broadcast is cited by Ukrainian media. Our key message is that the defense forces continue to carry out combat tasks on the left bank of the Dnieper, including in the area of the village of KRYNKY, he stressed. However, he admitted that the town was turned into a pile of rubble by Russian fire and also destroyed most of the Ukrainian positions. However, Ukrainian forces continue to cause significant losses to the enemy on the left bank of the Dnieper, where they also have other bridgeheads, Lykovich said. A total of 788 Ukrainian soldiers defended KRYNKY, while a much smaller number of corpses of dead soldiers, namely 262, were taken from this village on the other bank of the Dnieper and buried, the newspaper Ukrainska Pravda reported today on their website. Apparently, the objective of the operation was to tie up a part of the Russian forces and exhaust them in disadvantageous counterattacks. The Russian attacks on KRYNKY occurred in unfavorable terrain, under fire from Ukrainian weapons and especially drones. However, supplying the bridgehead and evacuating the wounded were very complicated. The Ukrainian part was quite vulnerable, especially when transported across the Dnieper River. According to several analysts on this coastal front, the casualty ratio was 1 Ukrainian against 10, compared to 1 against 6 on average in the rest of the battlefields of this war according to several analysts. So we could say that the sacrifice in this small fishing town was valid to wear down the attacking army. Will indirect approach attacks continue? Subscribe to BAM.